So welcome along to round 5 already from the SBR Sim Racing British Touring Car Championship Legends Series from Redbull Ring Short this week in the pouring down rain. And let's just get straight into it. There's your grid. It's Ben from Sean, Adam, Nathan, Greg do a great display, Lewis, Liam, Dylan, Ian and Jeff, your top 10 as we get ready for the start of the race. And there's the confirmation of the grid with Alex in 11th, Ashley in 12th, Coleman down in 13th, unusual for him, and Andrew in 14th, actually quite far down for those pair. But this race will be hard work. It's very slippery conditions. Intermediates seem to be the order of the day, and we're not expecting pit stops, so it's just going to be a flat out dash for 18 laps. And expect the four-wheel drives obviously in these conditions to get away well. So off the start we go, and Ben and Sean look like they got rocket starts, as is Greg, and not so much for Ian and Andrew in the background who are on the grass. Nathan up the outside trying to get track position on Greg. Greg holds position on the inside as we rocket around turn 1, just clouds of spray, and Jeff's off in the background and into the barrier in the Primera, but it's still Ben from Sean with Nathan there, the championship leader, in third, and everyone seems to have made it round other than Jeff, unfortunately for him. And moving through the middle part of this track, just a short circuit this week, keeps the racing closer. As you can see already, we get a great battle already for the lead. Sean looks on it this weekend. He needs to win some races, he said in the chat before this race, and it looks like he means to do that. Greg's slowly slipping backwards slightly, but he's probably just trying to find his feet. And you need web feet in these conditions. There's Coleman there just sliding through the last corner, and if you want to watch out for someone, look out for Ian in the Vectra liveried car. He's the king of slide in this race, and we'll point out as the race goes on. But it's still Ben that leads from Sean. Sean with a good cut back on the first corner, got really good grip, and he's alongside the Mondeo now, with Nathan looking and trying to keep a watching brief as they go into turn 2. And who has the lead? They're still side by side. They've been side by side now for pretty much 3/4 of this lap, and it's still Ben that holds it, but Sean will get a good slingshot around the outside in the Alpha, and he's done it. He takes the lead. I'm not sure Ben's going to like that. Probably a flash of the lights there, and it was. Meanwhile, just behind that, this is going to be hard to keep up with. In 7th and 8th we have the battle in BMWs of Liam in the Turkington livery and Dylan in the Tordorf livery, and there's a bit of contact, but kind of inevitable when you got rear-wheel drive cars trying to get around a corner there. Bit of a drift from Liam, and there's Alex hanging out the top 10 there, and Ash has decided to go for a little bit of a skiing lesson off the last corner. Have a look at his livery as well. It's quite funny when we get to see it. But it is Sean that leads. Ben trying to come back at him at turn 2, switches to the outside, can't quite get it done. Sean's deep into the corner though, and nope, looks like he held on to it. So Liam is at 5th with Lewis down to 6th. Sideways there from Dylan, and Coleman almost got the position off him, and Alex is up to 9th there, so he was 10th last time we saw him, so he might have picked off Ian by the looks of it. Along this back straight now, you can call it that. And Greg's dropped back as well, so Greg's had an issue, we believe, at turn 1. We've not caught that, but Greg's fallen all the way back down, but he's got a very fast car, and he'll help to prove it. And it's Jeff at the back now. He's now caught the group back up after his early spin. Meanwhile, back at the front, and it's now Ben under pressure from Adam, who's in 3rd in his Ingram livery car, as they head into the first corner, and Nathan it is that's dropped back a position, so maybe a mistake from Nathan. Liam doing well in the rear-wheel drive car there, and Alex wide at turn 1. That'd be probably a penalty. They're quite harsh at turn 1. So recovering Greg in 11th place. Andrew Chris doing a good job. Ashley there 14th by the looks of it. As again, onto this back straight, the laps come very fast on this track because it's only short. It's less than a minute long. Liam holding off Lewis at the moment as we head into the final 2 corners. The track just looks like it's getting wetter to me. It's just floods of water. Not easy, especially for the BMWs. They seem quite prone to sideways driving, as well as Ian, obviously, in the Lexus Vectra livery car. Heading into turn 1 then, and no position changes there. Is there anything in the background here? Let's see, there's a good group of cars coming together now as everyone starts to find the grip. Ian's never found the grip, he's completely sideways at every opportunity. It's brilliant to watch. But Sean leads from Ben, then it's Adam and Nathan, with Liam sort of catching the group a little bit in 5th. And as the rest of the pack comes through, and here is Ian with Alex right on his tail. But Ian's car's pretty quick down the straight, so it might just hold position down here. And he does. With the Gran Turismo bridge and into the last 2 corners. And the Morgan livery Toyota there holding on well and trying to keep up with Ian there. And a bit of a break at the front from the first 2, so Sean and Ben just with a slight gap now on Adam. And Lewis obviously looking down the inside of Liam, trying to get back to position, and he looks like he's got it. Liam's got no choice but to let that one go. Liam with a 1.5 second penalty now. He's collecting penalties more than he's collecting positions. Broke a bit early for that corner to try and get rid of some of it, and he's got it down to 1.1. And Alex and Ian still going at it here. Ian kind of neat through there for once. That's quite nice driving. Battle for lead starting to intensify a bit as Ben's starting to move in a little bit on Sean. Sean with that great move at the start of the race. He's held on to it since then. He was very disappointed not to get pole position. He thought he was fastest guy on the track, and just a miracle lap from Ben managed to just nab pole at the end of the session. But looks like he's got the pace in the race. As Pat comes through, and there's Ian and Alex having a good battle still. And Greg not making much impression in 11th place. With his qualifying pace, you'd hope he'd come forward a bit. But there is the brilliant livery of Ash there with the Michelin Man with his life jacket on and his rubber ring. If you get a closer look at it, you'll see it. And probably about the right decision of overall for this race. Don't think overalls will quite do it in these conditions. If it gets any wetter, we're going to need a lifeboat. Sorry about that. There's Sean then still leading this race, and he's got a penalty actually. I think I just saw that. Yes, he has. A 0.5 second penalty, so that will be rounded up to a second. So he needs to make a break by about a second to win this race. So that's changed things a little bit. There's Coleman. He's also got a penalty. I think pretty much the majority of the grid have got penalties. Greg now starting to move up. He's passed Alex as the Mazda starts to come on song with his Morgan Wicks livery. And sideways from Ian again. Gives Greg a good run onto the straight, but that's the problem for Greg, is that's where the Lexus is strong. He'll have a little look down the inside, but it's not really on. Takes the wide line into turn 1. He can try and get a cut back and use the grip from the Mazda, and he's done that by the looks of it. Can he complete the move into turn 2? And it looks like he has. Good move from Greg. So Ian's reaction is a typical one of just, I'll drift into this next corner and I'm sure I can hold the position, but it didn't work. Greg holds on to 9th place, and now his eyes forward onto Coleman, I believe it is in 8th. Yes, it is. And he'll try and pass him as well. So Greg coming on strong now in the latter stages of the race, as Sean still leads with a 0.4 penalty, which I still think will be rounded up to a second. I'm not sure. We'll see at the end. And Lewis with a penalty, Liam with a penalty. Liam may be better off to take that penalty. He's got a bit of a gap behind him and then try and charge forward back at those guys and taking advantage of that. But look at this battle pack. So you've got Coleman, Greg, Ian, and just off the back Alex. So, well, this can only end in tears surely. And there's Andrew as well. He's having a bit of a quieter race for him. Coleman decides not to brake for turn 1, or was he pushed? I'm not sure. But either way, Greg takes position. He's up to 8th place. And this is the best showing we've seen from Greg all season. Admittedly, he only debuted in the last race and he showed glimpses of what he was capable of, but this is some good work for him. And admittedly, he's in the 4-wheel drive. The rumour is that is a slight advantage. I'm not sure. We've seen some really fast times from the rear-wheel drive cars, and in fact there's 2-wheel drive cars battling for the lead right now, so it's kind of horses for courses, and different tracks will suit different cars. But back to that later. Coleman's still fighting for his life now with Alex right behind him. He's lost 2 positions. And Greg's just walking away from him, and Ian completely drifted sideways, and that's put Coleman onto the back of him. Alex tags him as well, and Andrew's got a good run out the back of this. Can he complete a move there? And Coleman's back up the inside of Ian to take 9th place, and Andrew does in fact get past Alex. So just outside the points now as these two go side by side into the first corner. The battle of the Lexus, and it's the Julian Bailey and Matt Neal cars that are fighting, and they've both got penalties. More penalties in a World Cup semi-final. Oh, sideways from Coleman. He's in the barrier slightly. I think Ian lost the back and turned in, and there was definite contact, and Ian's actually lost out on that one, and he's in the wall. And speaking of in the wall is Chris. Chris was having quite a good race actually, and unfortunately will drop to the back of the field and in danger of being lapped now as the leaders come through again, and it's still Sean, and he's got a slightly bigger advantage over Ben. Adam and Nathan just keeping the watching brief at the moment, but you feel like something's going to happen in the background. Something is happening. Liam's defending from Lewis, so Lewis has obviously dropped back a little bit there. Liam meanwhile is still collecting penalties. He's up to 1.6 seconds. In a minute he won't have started the race with the amount of penalties he's going to get, but no, he's taking it. I still think that's the right move. If we can take the whole penalty, he might catch these guys, and if there's any further penalties he could actually move up a couple positions. But we don't think like that. This is touring car racing. You just want to pass the guy in front of you. Nathan's starting to look a little bit more racy on the back of Adam, but the car changes a lot in these conditions. You can have grip and then the next lap none. Greg doing a great job in 8th now. Andrew up to 9th, so he has moved up a couple positions past Alex as well. So he's firmly in the points now. And the rubber ring BMW there in the background in 13th for Ashley. But now Sean with the biggest lead we've seen so far this race, and Nathan is indeed now right on the back of Adam. Let's see what he can do. He's quite tight there out of the corner. He's got a good run. Adam knows it, defends to the inside for turn 2. He won't get around the outside, Nathan, but he's thinking about it. I don't think that's going to work. Adam keeps it tight. He'll accelerate out and have the inside for the next corner. Nathan moves out, tries to get a switch back and get the run, and just use the, as I say every week, the superior power of the Lexus, and he's doing it. He's trying to go around the outside into the last 2 corners. Look how fast that thing is. He's drawn alongside, but now he'll look to get a cut back. Oh, a little bit of contact, but I think Adam was drifting anyway, and Nathan does take 3rd. Now he'll set off after the front 2, and the championship leader is on the prowl, and he's moving into the podium's positions. Meanwhile in the background Lewis is past Liam as we saw, and Liam's now just trying to get rid of the penalties that he's got. It's very easy to get a penalty on this track, to be honest with you, especially at turn 1. You just run a little bit wide, it does ping you straight away, so they're accurate, but they are quite frustrating sometimes. You just feel like you just ran wide, but it's costly. That there from Dylan is probably about the limit. There's Greg, and that's Alex. I don't know. Why not have 2 bites at it? That's fine. Alex just behind Andrew, and Andrew's got 1.4 seconds of penalty, so if he just stays there he'll beat him on the road. Beat him on the times, sorry, not on the road. Speaking of on the road, Jeff's having a horrible race. He's in 14th position. He's better than that. Sean still leads. Ben 2nd. Is Nathan closing in? No, he's going sideways. And wow, Lewis is in the pits. That's brave. Lewis pits from 5th position for new tyres, like 3/4 of the way into the race. So his pink pit crew as ever waiting for him, and there's going to be a new set of Inters go on to the Toyota and against this car. Has he made a sausage roll of this? I'm not sure. He's going to come out in 7th place. Or there's Greg there. I just saw the front of Greg's car, so it might be 8th. It's saying 8th, it's 7th. Let's see, they're side by side, and it is 7th for Lewis, and now he needs to really attack to try and get his 5th place back again. There's well, in fact there is Liam, there's a sideways Dylan, and then we have Lewis, so he's going to have to hope that he's got a major advantage from these new tyres, or else that's not going to work. Andrew in 9th now, 1.8 seconds of penalties, with Alex sat behind him. Alex probably just thinks, well, if I just follow him, I've got the position. They're both going to end up scoring points. Here's Ian just outside the top 10, and Coleman, and here's the battling Primeras. And there's the Michelin man with his life jacket on. At least he's safe, with Jeff fighting back there. And here's the leaders again as they're lapping Chris now, so Chris get out of the way. Brilliant bit of driving from him. Will he get out of the way of Nathan? It looks like it. He'll just hold the car tight. Yep, great driving from Chris. Great bit of professional driving there just to get out of the way and just let these guys get on with the battle. Chris has had his own issues, but is improving every week, and he's at least he's enjoying himself, and that's all that matters in this league. That's all that we care about. And there's Adam. He's just dropping off towards the end of this race, unfortunately, but he'll be very happy with 4th place, the newcomer. And this isn't over. Lewis is already, well, he's already passed Greg anyway, and now he's working all over Dylan. Dylan's gone wide at the last corner, and that should be easy for Lewis. Better contact, side by side contact, so that's fine. And into 6th, whoa, sideways from all of them. 6th goes Lewis with his new tyres, and now he has to catch Liam, or else it was a waste of time. Liam fairly up the road at this point, but Greg's looking racy. Greg is my star of the race, to be honest with you. He was up there at the start, lost it, we were pretty much last, and now he's back up to 8th and battling for 6th. So yeah, big improvement from Greg this week. Sean though looks to have this, well, I'll say that, but Ben's now right on his case and with the penalty as well, so it's not over at all. And Nathan's moving in very quickly. Liam though with a nice gap over Lewis. It'd be quite hard for Lewis to catch that, so but we'll keep an eye on it. We're nearly getting towards the end of the race, probably about 3 or 4 laps left, not long. And Lewis is not really breaking away from Dylan, so unless he's dragging Dylan along with him, I don't see how he's going to catch Liam. But maybe he's just going for a drift record, but he's going to have a hard job to take it off Ian. And now 2.3 seconds worth of penalties for Andrew, and there you go, there's the drift master. Especially at this last corner, he's normally pretty good. Nope, he seems to have kept that neat this time. And meanwhile, the Primeras are still at it. It's the Matt Neal car ahead of the David Leslie car, and they're still at it. There you can see the rubber ring and the life jacket even better there. I know I'm going on about it, but it is quite funny. And yeah, let's get back to the leaders, and here they are. And a penalty for Ben as well. Ben's got a penalty as well, so that negates any problems that Sean might have had, unless Nathan gets past Ben, and who hasn't got a penalty. So Ben shot himself in the foot there with getting that, so it looks like Sean is now leading properly on the track. Ben's second, but if Nathan stays there, Nathan the championship leader, remember, these two are fighting for the championship. Wide from Nathan, will he get pinged for that? Let's just see. No, he hasn't. So Nathan's actually in a good position here. He can actually take second, and Ben takes the penalty. Look, he's actually just slowed down at the slowest corner, not held Nathan up there, just got away with that really. And now his penalty's down to 0.1, so now he's just got to pull a 0.1 advantage over Nathan, and he'll hold on to the positions. That's quite clever thinking, but it's going to be Sean that's going to win this race. I think this is the last lap as they head into the last 2 corners. Nathan's catching very quickly on Ben. Nathan's wide, he'll get pinged for that, definitely, 100% he'll get a penalty for that one. He's still all over the back of Ben, but it's Sean that wins his first race in the Alfa Romeo. He'll be delighted with that. Second for Ben, third for Nathan, and Nathan did get a penalty, so he stays third. Fourth for Adam, great drive by him. He's flashing his lights, he's happy with that. Liam does stay fifth, so that didn't work for Lewis. Fifth for Liam as Chris crosses line last and 15th. 6th for Lewis, 7th it looks like for Greg. There's a spin in the background, that's Dylan, I would have thought. It is, and will he get to the line just before Andrew gets there? And yes he does. Andrew's 9th, but not on the timesheets he won't be after all his penalties. Then it's across the line, and 11th looks like it's going to be Ian, with a excitable Coleman in 12th, and Jeff wins the Primera battle, 13th ahead of Ashley in 14th, but he'll be happy as Michelin Man survived that race. 14th for him, and we saw Chris cross the line in 15th. But it's just confirmation then. So it was Sean from Ben, from Nathan, Adam, Liam, Lewis, Greg in 7th, great drive. 8th for Dylan, 9th for Alex, and 10th for Andrew, the last point scorer. That was round 5. Join us for round 6 for the reverse grid. And in these conditions, that's going to be madness.